Our video just hit 1.8 million views, which is kind of a big deal because only a year ago, we were averaging like 150 views per video. Hey, my name is Jimmy, and I've been helping my church grow their YouTube channel to 25,000 subscribers, and actually 10,000 of those subscribers came from just 1 month. Now, the crazy part about getting the million views is it actually wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. In fact, we broke it down to a process, and by using that process, we had a video that got 580,000 views, 300,000 views, and multiple videos that have all hit over 100,000 views following the exact same system. So in this video, I wanted to break down exactly how we got our 1 million view video. All right, so the very first step of the process, which was arguably the most important, was actually finding the idea. And I created a document here that will walk us exactly through the process. So for the process, we wanted to find videos that were already proven to get views. So to get 1 million views, it's hard to start from scratch sometimes, so what we wanted to do is actually go out, find videos that are proven, have a proven track record, and then kind of make our own versions of that to get more views. Now, ideas typically come from two places when you're looking for inspiration, looking for videos that have proven track records. So firstly, it can come from popular channels in your niche. So what we've done is get together kind of a list of all the different channels in your niche that are doing really well, and then you're going to be able to use these channels for inspiration as you're trying to find video ideas. And then also, one underrated way to do it is finding popular videos from channels in other niches. So if you can take a proven idea and then bring it into your own niche, then that's how you can kind of stand out and get more views while also not just being kind of a watered down version of your competition. So how do you actually get these ideas? So in your niche, like I said, you want to create a list of channels in your niche that are successful. Like we've literally just created a Google Doc that has links to all of these. And then what you want to do on a weekly basis, you want to figure out what are the highest performing videos and then take those and put them into your Google Doc. On a weekly basis, we go through each of the channels, see what their highest performing videos are, and then link those in a separate Google Doc. So we have a long list of videos that are proven to get a lot of views. Now, if you're doing this outside of your niche, it's similar, but it looks just a little bit different. So you can look for different outliers across all of YouTube. Basically, what an outlier is if a channel is getting 3,000 views, but then they have one video that gets 300,000 views, then this video is going to be an outlier, and that gives good evidence that, hey, there's something in here that did better than the channel's average, so you want to take notes from that. And then once you have these, you want to, what I do is I actually save them to a YouTube playlist that I call a swipe file. So these are high-performing outlier videos, so I can open up that playlist anytime and see, hey, these are all the videos that are doing really well on YouTube right now. So the goal for this finding the idea phase is to find a video that is proven to get views, and then what we're going to do is we're going to improve and remix it. And then also we have some resources for finding ideas. So the first one, which is actually free and one of my favorites, is called Creator Hooks. So Jake Thomas, I found him on Twitter originally, and basically what he does is he creates a weekly newsletter where he collects the highest performing titles across all of YouTube, and then not only gives you them, but then breaks down exactly why they work. So if you are new to making YouTube videos and you don't know exactly how to make high performing titles, then you can go to Creator Hooks and then you'll find a lot of inspiration from there. And then the next option, which is actually a paid option, but this is a great way to find outliers, is this tool called 1 of 10. So basically what it is this tool where you go on and you can search any specific topic, you can search different videos, and then what we'll do is we'll find outlier videos across all of YouTube. Again, very cool tool, but it is paid. Now the next one is actually very new, but I'm super excited for it. So this is called ViewStats Pro, and I didn't know this, but this is actually Mr. Beast tool. So just like 1 of 10, it allows you to search outliers across all of YouTube, but you can also do things like taking a thumbnail that you have and then searching that across YouTube. So then it'll bring up a whole page of different videos that have a very similar thumbnail. And then you can also look at different A/B tests that people are doing for their titles and thumbnails on YouTube. So ViewStats, they have a free version where you can just see a lot of different data on YouTube channels, where you just search the YouTube channel on the website, and then you can see things like, okay, how well did their videos perform compared to the last 10? Have they changed the title and thumbnail? Things like that. So not only for your own videos, but also for your competitors' videos, you can really get some detailed stats. Stats. But if you get View Stats Pro, then you can do more things like searching for outliers and doing things like that. Now, that is a paid tool. I think it's like $39 a month. But if you've been doing this YouTube thing for a while, or if you want to kind of speed up your growth, then View Stats Pro is a great option for that. Now, once we've found the idea, the next most important step is actually packaging the content. So this is coming up with a title and thumbnail. So here's how to find inspiration for packaging. Because just like with ideas, we don't want to just start from scratch and think of, hey, how can I make a good title and thumbnail? We want to find inspiration for it. So the first way is from other people who have made a similar video. So if the video is popular, chances are other people have also made a similar video. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at their titles and thumbnails for inspiration. Now, when you're looking at them for titles, you want to look for two things. That is formulas and power words. And we'll dive into what those mean in here in just a second. And then for thumbnails, you want to look for different thumbnail formats and then also what kind of imagery that they use. So, and then the other way that you can do it is from other popular videos in your niche. So once you find kind of a proven idea that you want to use, you can use similar videos, but then you can also just look at kind of broadly the channels that are doing well in your niche. Look at their titles. So like I said, go through popular videos in your niche, look at their titles and thumbnails. Again, for titles, formulas, and power words. And then for thumbnails, look for formats and imagery. And basically what we're going to do here is we're going to take multiple different elements from these videos, from the titles and thumbnails, and then we're going to mix and match them to fit our own video. Now, as promised, what are power words and formulas? So power words, these are usually the words, at least in our niche, that are either capitalized in the titles or they're the words in parentheses. And then formulas, you're looking at popular titles. A lot of times they'll follow a specific sequence. So you want to find one and then kind of put your video specific words into that structure and then adapt it to your own video. And then formats and imagery. So formats are like the overall layouts of the thumbnail. Like, is it a split screen? Is it a before and after? And then looking at things like, are there text on the thumbnail? And are they using arrows, circles, anything like that? You want to choose a proven format when making your own thumbnail. And then for the imagery, you want to pay close attention to the kind of images people use and take inspiration when making your own thumbnails. So here's an example of our video and show you kind of exactly how we did it. So our 1 million video is now sitting at 1.8 million views. So here is the title and thumbnail for it. So we have Joe Rogan confronted by historical evidence for Jesus' reaction. And here's the thumbnail that I made. It didn't take a whole lot of time to make, but I want to show you the inspiration from it. Now, the interesting thing about this was the inspiration was pretty close, but I think we just improved it a little bit and then remixed it a little bit, and our video ended up getting 1.8 million views. So this video is actually uploaded like, let's see how long it was. So the inspiration came from Ruslan, and this was 8 months ago. So we found this video, saw it perform really well, and then you can see his video was Joe Rogan challenged on the resurrection of Jesus ? And you can see a lot of the similarities. Now, one of the things that we did find, you can see obviously he's got his face in the image, and we've tried that with our pastor's face in the thumbnail, and we've seen that since not as many people know who he is, then putting his face in the thumbnail made it less broadly appealing. So that's why you can see in ours, if I go back up, we actually removed his face and then just have Joe Rogan and then this image from the resurrection. So obviously there's a lot of similarities here, but I do think that we made the title a little bit more interesting and then cleaned up the imagery and then made it a little bit more curious by using things like this arrow here. So like I said, we remixed the title and then used similar, but I would argue better, imagery for the thumbnail. So once you've created your packaging, you actually don't want to stop there. You want to make your packaging, but then also make variations of it. Because what we found is your first try at a title and thumbnail doesn't always hit. So having variations is super helpful if you want to get more views. And then here's some side notes as you are creating these. So you want to use your inspiration to make the title and thumbnail as interesting as possible while still delivering of the promise of the video. So you can make a title and thumbnail that is completely clickbait and you might get a few views, but then when people aren't watching the video all the way through, then YouTube's like, oh, okay, this is clickbait. So YouTube's going to stop pushing it out to more and more people. But what you want to do is take your topic and your title and make it as interesting as possible while still delivering on the promise of the video. And the reason we're making things like variations of both the title and thumbnail is just in case your original combination doesn't perform as well. So here's how to easily create variations, because some people do make completely different titles and thumbnails for each video, and you can do that, but it does take more time. So what we've done is kind of just make slight variations of them. So for your thumbnails, you can do 3 different things. First, you can change the format of the thumbnail. So that's just how it's actually laid out. Like it could be one image plus one person, or you can have a split screen, you can have a before and after. So all of the different formats that you have, you can change the actual format of the thumbnail, and then you can change the imagery of the thumbnail. Like in our example, we could change the picture on the right-hand side, and that would be another variation of the thumbnail. And then also you can change the text on the thumbnail. I've seen a lot of YouTubers do this, where the only thing they change between different thumbnails is just changing the text on it. And those small changes do seem small, but they can actually make a whole lot of a difference. And then for your titles, you can change the actual title formula or the structure, or you can also change the power words. So we've seen some videos where just adding 2 words to a title can actually take our video from like 70 views to like 3,000 views just by adding a couple of words to it. Now, here are some resources for packaging that I have found that have been really helpful for us. So the resources for packaging, the first, and this is actually what we used for the Joe Rogan video that got 1.8 million views, is Midjourney. Now, a lot of you probably know what Midjourney is. That's an AI tool that you can generate AI images and then use those for your thumbnails. But what I found is Midjourney actually has a search tool that you can use, kind of like Google search, where you can get a lot of different cool images without having to know all of the details of how to create an image. Because the problem I found with Midjourney is sometimes it's complicated to come up with the prompts on how to actually make these AI images. But what you can do is go to midjourney.com, assuming you have a subscription, and then type in, just like Google search, whatever you want, and then hit enter. And then from there, it will show you all of the different AI images that other people have generated, and then you can use those for your thumbnail. So again, like this is $10 a month, and we used it, and we absolutely made our money back from that video. So Midjourney is a huge one. And then if you want to A/B test your thumbnails, because you can do it manually where you just change the title and thumbnail and then kind of watch the performance. But I know a lot of people have been using different thumbnail testers so they can A/B test automatically. And one that I have used is like $19 per month. I've not loved it, but it's called Thumbnail Tester, and I'll have a link to all of this in the description. But basically what you do is you put all the different variations of your titles and thumbnails in this, and then it will automatically, I think like every hour, you can do it every day, it will change out those titles and thumbnails. And then on top of that, it will keep track of all the metrics for your video. So it will show you exactly how many views you got during that time, how long your watch time is. So then you can make an educated guess, okay, this is the title and thumbnail that is performing best for us. Because once we have the packaging, once we've made the variations, it's time to actually test the packaging. And that's where things like A/B tests come in. Because you can make your best educated guess, but sometimes your title and thumbnail still won't perform. But if that's the case, do not fret, because that's where the testing begins. So we don't have this down to a complete science yet, but this is what's been working for us. So if we're pretty confident that our video should be getting more views, after about the 24 to 48 hour mark, then we actually start testing. Because especially if you're a smaller channel, sometimes it does take your video longer to hit the algorithm and find the audience. So sometimes giving it 1, 2, or even 3 days, that without even changing the title or thumbnail, it can find the audience and then your video can pick up. And then if you're testing manually, typically what we do is we wait between like 24 hours between the thumbnail and title test, just so you can see, okay, is this actually making a difference in the amount of views that we're getting? Obviously you can test your titles and thumbnails at the same time, but typically what we do, just because it's a little bit easier, is we test another title variation first, because it's not like you're creating an entire new thumbnail, you're just changing the title of it. And we have seen that there was one video that we had that was at 70 views, and the only thing we changed was the title, and then it went from 70 views to 3,000 views just by changing that title. So usually that's what we start with, just to see if that makes a big difference. And then also, if the title doesn't really make sense with the thumbnail, then you can change the thumbnail to match the new title. And then once we've done that, not really seeing any progress, then we'll try a different thumbnail variation. So that was a lot of information, but here's kind of an overall recap of the system going from the very beginning all the way to testing. So first, you want to get a list of channels in your niche that are doing well and making similar content to you. Actually put those in a Google Doc with links, everything, so you can reference them on a continual basis. And then you want to study what their content is like. Look at things like their titles, their thumbnails, their ideas, their hooks. Basically, you want to find people that are successful and then see why they are so successful. And then step 3, you want to take those high-performing videos and then put them in a list. Now, you don't want to just totally remake these videos, but you want to truly remix them. So you want to improve it in some way, and that goes along with step 5, which is improving the packaging. Now, what we found with our videos is the packaging, the title and thumbnail of it is kind of the 20% that gives you 80% of the results as far as views. Because we had one video that after a couple of days, the video was stuck at 200 views. And then after changing the title and thumbnail, the same video without changing any of the content is now sitting at 580,000 views. So this year we've been really focusing on getting good at things like titles and thumbnails. And where I learned a lot of how to make high performing titles and thumbnails is looking at other successful YouTubers. So if you want a complete breakdown of how successful YouTubers basically force you to click, you can watch this video.